Hello everybody, this is Michael with Mikey Does Outdoors, coming to you with a video about Monahans Sandhills State Park in Texas, out in the west part of Texas. It's a pretty neat place, lots of sand, lots of things to do, lots of interesting bird life to see, but check it out. So this is the entrance to the Monahans Sandhill State Park. I thought it was neat to catch it up there with the flags waving in the air and everything. Kind of neat place. Neat to see. There's some rules and regulations and a not check-in place in case you get there after hours. There's also a neat little trail down that way. It's a little informational trail that I didn't actually do this time while I was there. Here's a nice broad view of my campsite in the sand, and there's another short, shorter view of it with the truck in the. And that first day there, I saw this thing flying around, and I thought it was fun to see. I've never seen a blimp just flying around. I guess there weren't any markings on it, so I guess it was maybe one of the oil companies owns it or something. I don't know, but it's still kind of neat, no matter who owns it. Kind of neat to see it go by. And then I thought I'd give you a little look at the some of the roads around there. This is a road going from my campsite, and you take a right, and you go up towards this pump jack, and I think they even may call this the pump jack picnic area. But kind of neat. The pump jack wasn't running, but it has a big sign on it that says to be careful because it starts automatically, and I'm not sure. They must be able to start and stop it from somewhere remotely. But kind of fun to see the place because I've wondered what it was about, and so and if you want to, you can actually trek across a shortcut across the. It's a shortcut, but across the hills with sand and stuff over here from where I was camping. But it's not as easy thing to go across the sand, so it might be a shorter distance, but it might be a longer trip. And they have these neat little picnic areas over here. I mean, not many of them are getting used, but they got a good setup, really. Good place for you to take your family and have a picnic. And they have been used. I mean, I don't know that weekend, that Saturday and Sunday. It was Saturday when I got there, but I mean, Sunday it was packed with people using it, and part of Saturday when I after I got there it was packed pretty good because people rent little plastic discs and they'll go climb up to the top of those kind of places and slide down. You'll see a kind of a slide looking deal coming down way over there, and that's what that is. Somebody slid down it on one of those discs. Probably a lot of fun. Good way to burn off some energy for kids and stuff. Um, Good, probably cheap family entertainment. If you want to take your family out there and have a picnic and spend the afternoon playing, that's really what it's for. And there's some places that have some beach volleyball nets set up, and so you could have a group out there and have fun doing that. Good. The ones that wanted to could go climb the hills, and the one that wanted to play beach volleyball could play volleyball, and the ones that wanted to go um, scoot down the hills on the disc can go do that. Have lots of fun, burn off lots of energy. Probably make you pretty tired by the end of the day doing all that because climbing through that sand will make you tired. But nice little place, really. And there's a little closer. We'll go right by it. Closer look at that pump jack. Lots of oil down in that area, and that's what the primary industry is down there. I think. Well, and they have some cattle and stuff as well, but lots and lots of oil. I ended up going back down that road towards the campsite area. There's more picnicking down there too, which you'll see in a few minutes. Oh, and here we are, right past the road to the left. There you go down the road, and that goes to where I'm camping. and there's a restroom right there to the left. But I thought I'd go up this road and go show the other picnic area here. There's also, of course, for RVs, if you're doing RV, and there's a dump station right there to the left. And then up there, there's a house. It's a group activity center, I think is what it said. You have to, request it in advance and that kind of thing. But they have a neat place here. I mean, you can, and the beach volleyball net is right there by it. So I guess if you wanted to, you could plan a little event and everybody could go hang out there, and then ones that wanted to go out behind there and play volleyball. Lots of people have been there having fun. I saw some guys. One guy says he goes there several times a week. I guess he probably works around there, lives around there, and he goes out there and runs through the sand to get his exercise in, and that kind of helps him because it's tough. I mean, it's not easy to run through the sand. Not that kind of sand. And you got to be careful and stay on the pavement. They'll say they have signs that say that, and they mean it. Because, I just barely got off of the pavement when I was about to back into my campsite, and I almost got stuck. But thankfully, my little Nissan is a good little truck, and it got me right on out. But it could have easily been stuck. But there was some Boy Scouts, a big Boy Scout group down the road, and I think they'd have come and helped me out if I'd have needed it. But thankfully, I didn't need it. But it's a little bit of a hike up to some of this stuff. But I decided to walk it instead of driving it because, I mean, I need some exercise. And you can get some exercise around these places. There's that, going up that hill, because I thought that windmill was kind of neat. It wasn't turning at all when I was there, but I don't know if it just is out of water now or something. I don't know. They have years where they don't get a lot of water, or a lot of rain. This is a place for lots of people. You can see all the footprints. This is where a lot of people go, and this is a kind of good thing to see because then you can know where the easier ways can be to go, and you're still not easy, But I thought I'd give you to put on the chest cam and go up there and kind of give you a look at what it's like to climb out. I didn't climb all the way to the top. I talked to one of the maintenance guys there, and he's fun to talk to. But he's talking about the top peak up there. They call it Mount Everest. And you can get up there and see all kinds of stuff. But I didn't go all the way that far because that was a long ways for me to go trucking through this sand. At least that's what I decided. I did lots of walking anyway. But now I go through this sand. Good exercise. And of course, I got up early and did it before people got there because I wanted to try to not have to cut out people's faces and stuff out of the video because, I hadn't learned how to use. I need to learn how to use the blurring tool so I can just leave them in there and blur the faces out, I guess. And I will for too long. I'll have that all down pat. But you'll see here in a minute. I try to keep going the way the footprints go. But also when I was talking to the maintenance guy, he was telling me to watch for the vegetation. That means the sand has set there long enough and settled long enough for plants to grow. And it's also got some root structures in it. Makes it easier to walk on. But I want to try it the way I see all the footprints going first. If they did it, you could do it that way, but it just takes a lot of energy. And you need to kind of walk where your feet's kind of going straight up and down and not twisting, because as soon as you twist, you kind of break a surface tension on the sand, and that's when you sink down in it. And go a little faster. You don't want to just sit, I kind of have a tendency to walk slow, and that's not the way you do it. You need to kind of pick up the pace a little bit, and you can kind of stomp across the top of it if you do that. Once you stop, though, especially if you twist any, it's going to sink right on down a little bit. Some of it's not too deep, but some of it is. You can watch and you can see when it's ones have drifted, and those can be really deep. when I first got there, I started trucking off where I saw somebody else go, and I sunk almost to my knee. Of course, I'm not a tall person, but that's quite a bit of sand. Of course, if I paid attention to them, wasn't walking like I was supposed to then. You pay attention. Of course, see, here I decided to go this way. This was far easier than trying to truck through that other sand. To go through here and find a way to do that. Oh, and it was pretty. Most of the days I was there, it was nice and sunshiny. Uh, they're kind of dry and arid place, but they were getting rain when I left, and that's why I left. I got up early the day I left and took off because they were about to get rain, what they needed a bunch of it, and so I hope they got quite a bit because they need it. It's a dry place. It's just the way it is in that part of the country, you know. One thing you can see around these places though is lots of birds and stuff. They go migratory birds and other kinds in there, and so bird bird watching guys would have fun especially in the fall of the year down there, and maybe the spring watching the birds that are doing migrating from north to south or south to north, depending on what time of year it is. But as you see the tallest peak over there to the left, I think that's the one he was calling Mount Everest. I'm not going to go too much further. If I had the volume turned on, it'd be kind of like when I was walking up uh, Mammoth Hot Springs and at Yellowstone. I was huffing and puffing, and I've actually been walking and getting in a little better shape, but I've got to do more, and I'm starting to. And that sand there that looked ripply, that actually was easier to walk on too than the places where people have already been. You just can't go walking and twisting your feet. You just need to pick the pace up and go right on across it before the surface tension breaks. And that's where the wind was blowing. I didn't get pictures of it, but before I left, the wind blew pretty good for one day, and it kind of one night, I guess, and it kind of swept most of the footprints right off, kind of like starting over from scratch ever so often. I'm sure the rain helped it do that some too. And they say some of those, like that peak, that mount, what he calls Mount Everest, can grow quite a bit after a rainfall. But then some of the sand will fall off, and it'll leave the back to about where it was. And so, although that stuff moves around in the wind and the rain both, and so kind of fascinating to me. Some places I've been to, you see watch for water on the roads. Around here, it was watch for sand on the roads, which is interesting. Yeah, and now we're going back down another road because that was all the sand I needed for that time. And I'm going to do another deal where I basically let y'all see some of my walkthroughs, almost the entirety of it, so you can kind of get a little better look at it if you want to. It's not quite as interesting as Yellowstone, but it's still interesting. And we're getting to the spots where I'm going to we'll see some neat birds and stuff. Although there was one kind of quail I tried hard to get a picture of, but it was constantly moving, and every time I'd get lined up, he'd move and I'd miss the shot. And so I got some shots that are okay, but not good enough for me to put on here. And it's called a. I did get it good enough I can identify it, and they call it a scaled quail because the feathers resemble scales, like a fish scales. But walking over here, you see that all that on the little trees on the or brush, whatever you call it, on the hills and stuff. It's called shin oak, and it only grows about knee high or so. Oh, this is a cool little bird. He was just sitting there, and I got started taking a few pictures, and then I get a little closer and take a few, and I got these two kind of good pictures, so I thought I'd put him in there. And that was close to one of those places I was walking, and this little area was a little different place than before, and they have picnic tables. They have one little section with several picnic tables. Then they have a couple of spots where you go down a drive, and there's one picnic table with a barbecue grill and all that stuff down there. So, and most of these places have all that together with them. As long as there's not a burn bin in effect, you can barbecue. But they, as dry as it is there, that's probably most of the time you can't. But you'll have to verify that when you go. But then, and this is a, and then you can walk on these hills too, and it's easier because of all that vegetation. I walked up some of it and looked around. And I was trying to catch some of those quail. They'd be in those trees, and they wouldn't even let me get anywhere close to them before they went taking off. And I got to thinking, I don't think there's any bird that I know of that goes from 0 to 100% in a split second like those quail do. And it's quail because of the way they sound. If you're out hunting them, sometimes it can startle you. So can other birds, but those little dudes are from nothing to 90 in just a split second. My water faucet over by my camper had a little bit of a leak to it, and I could hear. I had the windows open a lot over there, and I'd hear some of those birds go by because they're always making some kind of little noise. But something would happen and spook them, and they'd off. You hear the flutter of the wings, and gone. It's kind of a shame, I guess, that critters have to be so sensitive, but they do, or they'll get eaten by some other critter. That's just part of life, I guess. But there's lots of places here to see and picnic, and you can picnic around a bunch of people, or you can have your own little private picnic table area, in a couple of places. And so it's kind of, I don't know, it's a unique spot, worth a look at. And I'd seen something run across the road, but by the time you get to them, they're just gone. There's no way of seeing what it was. Could have been a fox or something. It wasn't big enough for a coyote or anything like that, but would have been big enough to be a fox. And they have prairie dogs around there too. I saw some now, and they like to bark at you, just like they do everywhere else you see them. I guess prairie dogs live just about anywhere. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please go to my YouTube channel and hit subscribe and hit like on the video. I'd appreciate it. I really could use some support like that. If you would, thank you.